Good morning, Britain. The Prime Minister's coming under pressure to delay this week's GCSE results amid growing anger at the mess surrounding A-level results.
As US Democrats begin the process of officially nominating Joe Biden as their candidate for the presidency, we ask how the world could cope with 4 more years of Donald Trump.
A warning over pandemic puppies after a huge surge in demand for pets during lockdown led to an increase in smuggling and scams, putting the dogs and their owners at risk.
And he was UB40's frontman for nearly 30 years. Now, Ali Campbell is going on a global tour as UB40 with Ali Campbell and Astro, the breakaway group. They join us after 8.
Scenes like this from the weekend could be repeated across England and Wales today. Warnings yet again for heavy rain, hail, the risk of further flash flooding. All the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Monday, 17th of August, 2020, live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Charlotte Hawkins and Adil Ray.
Good morning, Britain. It's 6 o'clock. Welcome to the show. Monday morning. We've got all our technical stuff. We've got our scripts.
We have.
Cameras are all in
Raring
place.
to go.
Everything's ready.
Bright and early Monday morning.
But the big question is, have you got the right pair of shoes on? Have you got the same pair of shoes on?
I have,
you got
although
the
you
same
did
shoes
make
on?
me worry, because after what happened previously, I can confirm, look, I do have matching shoes on today.
Always worth checking.
There was one blip when I happened... I mean, they were both pink, but they weren't actually matching.
One had a bow on, the other didn't.
They did.
Yeah.
Very well noticed.
But the funny thing about it is that you didn't notice until the very end of the show. It was almost the first thing you said when we finished the show. You went,
I dropped something and I looked down and realised I'd done that old trick of you put 2 pairs of, you put different shoes on to see which one goes better with the dress.
Yeah.
Obviously got sidetracked and completely forgot to match up my shoes. That's the difficulty of not having our stylist here in the morning, you see, because usually they give us the once-over just to check that everything's matching and all in its right place.
How do you cope at home?
I don't know. I honestly don't know how I get out the front door with everything intact. So, fortunately, I did pay attention. I know that now you've got your eye on the detail of this kind of thing, Adil, so I didn't want to let you down again.
Just give me something to talk about, Your mistakes are just great for us. It's brilliant. Yeah.
But if I wasn't the only one, lots of people did get in touch, reassuring me that they've done the same thing lots of times.
Lots of people from the Hawkins family, funnily enough.
Thank you.
Right, welcome to the show. 6:03 now.
It is. Let's take a look at the main news this morning, because there are calls to delay the publication of GCSE results this week to allow the government time to review the grading system and resolve the fallouts from the release of the A-level results.
Yeah, a bit of a mess, this one. It comes amid growing pressure on the Prime Minister to abandon the algorithm which downgraded thousands of students' final marks and follow Scotland in favour of predicted grades. Well, our chief correspondent Richard Gaisford reports.
Nina wants to be a vet. She was predicted ABB in her A-levels, but was given 3 Ds and lost her place at university.
I felt like my life was completely and utterly over. Not just my future career and academically, but everything around that was just completely destroyed.
Appeals are due to start today, but the process is in chaos after guidance for those in England on how to challenge their results was taken down over the weekend without explanation. Some students are now taking legal action against the exam regulator Ofqual.
We were promised that we'd get fair and reasonable grades, but they're way below what I deserve.
We think there are very, very strong grounds for challenge as it happens. I mean, judicial review is never easy, but we are feeling pretty bullish about this.
The Education Secretary Gavin Williamson's reportedly under pressure from within Ofqual to U-turn and use teachers' predicted grades, as eventually happened in Scotland. And there are calls for GCSE results, calculated with the same controversial algorithm, to be delayed for up to 2 weeks. Richard Gaisford. Good morning, Britain.
Now, Richard is in Coventry this morning. Richard, what can we expect this week?
Well, I think students can expect more confusion, frustration and upset as we head towards Thursday with those GCSE results to be a fly on the wall inside this building, Ofqual headquarters here in Coventry, Adil. There are reports this morning that they are split there on how to proceed and whether to ditch this algorithm or not, the formula that's used to work out the grades for the non-exam exams. It would appear at this point it's really only the government that is backing the algorithm. All of the other interested parties, the organisations with professional insight coming out very much against it. And today it's the Sixth Form Colleges Association that have joined that show of support for going back to teachers' grades. It says that it's looked at the results from its colleges and the grades are 20% down on the historical average compared to similar students. It says it looked at 41 different subject areas. None of them have seen an increase compared to the last 3 years' results. We also have legal challenges coming this week as well. Students, parents, other organisations taking Ofqual to the courts because they're not happy with how this has all been handled. The Department of Education has come out and said that it is working with the organisation to build as much fairness into the appeals process as possible. But as we know, it does appear that they're not quite sure what that should be. At the moment, the Department of Education says Ofqual is continuing to work on it, but the clock is very much ticking here. You have all of these A-level students waiting on their university applications. They won't wait forever. And of course, schools too are getting ready to start the new term in a few weeks' time at the beginning of September. The last thing they need as they try and work towards bringing classrooms back in a COVID era is to be bogged down in all of this appeals process.
Richard Gatesford in Coventry, thank you. Now, a scaled-down virtual version of the Democratic Party's national convention will begin later in the US, just a few days after presidential candidate Joe Biden announced Kamala Harris as his running mate.
Well, the four-day event, which usually attracts tens of thousands of attendees, will be held mostly online, with major guest speakers, including Michelle Obama and Bernie Sanders, joining via video call. Jagruti Dave is in Washington, D.C. for us this morning with more detail. Good morning to you, Jagruti. So how important is the convention to the election campaign?
Good morning. Yes, the conventions are hugely important to both parties. It's a chance for the nominee to connect with voters in their acceptance speech and really set out their vision and their narrative. Joe Biden will be giving his acceptance speech on Thursday. He won't be doing it in person, but he'll be doing it virtually from his home state of Delaware. It's also a chance for his vice presidential pick, Kamala Harris, to introduce herself to voters and get people really excited by her. There's going to be some heavy hitters from the party speaking, as you mentioned, former First Lady Michelle Obama, former President Barack Obama, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, as well as Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. But unlike previous conventions, we're not necessarily going to see as much of the pomp and circumstance that we normally would.
OK, Jagruti.
We are used to conventions where we have packed arenas and very, big crowds and a lot of give and take between the people on the podium and the people in the audience, balloon drops, all kinds of funny hats and all those things. None of that will be around this time. We're going to have a virtual convention.